So, with this new Smash Bros coming out for the Nintendo Switch, the hype for all the new characters has never been so electric! But with all this brand spanking sweet ass smooth jazz news getting pumped out of Nintendo recently, I think it's important to take a look back at the significance of the first Smash Bros. But more importantly, Captain Falcon and Samus Aran. Believe it or not, Samus and Captain Falcon may have been the two most important characters of the Smash 64 roster. Now at this time of the game's release, Captain Falcon had only had 2 games, one that had released earlier just that year, and the fearless bounty hunting F-Zero pilot had never really had too much screen time to represent himself. Granted, Falcon was the poster child of F-Zero, but the game was about racing. He didn't make an impact on people like Mario or Pikachu or Kirby or Jigglypuff or Yoshi. The same thing goes for Samus. She was the obvious star of the 1986 Metroid, but Samus wasn't revealed to be a woman unless you beat the entire game in under 5 hours. Even the Metroid manual alluded to the player that Samus was a man, so Nintendo was kind of tricking the players into playing as a girl, which at the time was their strategy since video games were most always geared towards boys. Once Smash Bros. 64 came out, Metroid already had 3 games in its series, but again she was a female character in a more demographically sexist time. So the fact that Masahiro Sakurai, the video game director of this new game at the time, would risk putting in A, the vague character Captain Falcon, and B, a strong female character into its roster of 12, ended up paying off in a terrific way, albeit far in the future. It could have been very easy for those two to have been cut from the game, as 10 characters seems much sleeker than 12 to me. But if Nintendo hadn't have put those 2 characters into the original Smash Bros, we might have ended up playing a very different game today. With the inclusion of Captain Falcon and Samus Aran, we gained 2 serious human characters, especially with Samus in the picture, her games being the grittiest of the 12 characters. It opened the door for the inclusion of more serious, darker characters. Without these 2, the only semi-serious humanish character would have been Link, but his games at the time were whimsical enough to be placed on the same shelf with Kirby, Ness, and Fox. Without Samus and Captain Falcon, the game may have been forever restricted to cartoony characters. The realism bar would have been set to match Link or even Mario. It's possible without those 2 characters we would have never had Zelda and Sheik, Ganondorf especially since he was an Echo Fighter of Captain Falcon. Any future Fire Emblem character is gone, Snake, obviously Zero Suit Samus, Little Mac, Cloud, Bayonetta, but worst of all, we wouldn't have...
Be gone! You don't belong in this world, monster!
Ridley, for God's sake! So please, take the time to think back to the original Smash Bros. And take a second to appreciate Captain Falcon and Samus for blessing the future generation of this game with their presence.